Konnichiwa, Kawaii Critic here to review My Little Pony Season 6, Episode 7, Newbie Dash. So, just like last week, I just happen to have a space below me. I wonder who's gonna invade me this week. It's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Oh, of course. That's too on the nose even for me. But I guess I'll just have to deal with this. Anyways, we begin this episode with Rainbow Dash quickly discovering that she is now officially a part of the Wonderbolts, and Scootaloo probably portrays her true feelings, as Rainbow Dash herself is left sort of speechless. And yeah, Spitfire made the superhero landing. Ah ha ha ha. It's not funny. Well, at least not for me. It's just sort of blech. Anyways, as we progress, her friends join her in her new home, and she's sort of left Spike in the case of humiliation. I'm pretty sure he's just already wishing that he just kept the cane and not gone back to Ponyville right about now. I would have left at the very first episode. Shut up, Sonic. Anyways, getting back to this, she decides that she's gonna learn all the stuff super quick and also show off what she knows. Spitfire doesn't seem impressed at the very slightest and reminds Rainbow Dash of the very first lesson: look both ways before you cross the street. So Rainbow does, and they progress to learn more lore about the Wonderbolt's past. And then Rainbow Dash promises that she's gonna do it and do it really good. And upon the next day, or minutes later, I don't know what the time progression was, but she decides to cross the street without looking and immediately regrets it as she flies into the garbage can to avoid almost getting hit, thus renaming her Rainbow Crash yet again, this time by the Wonderbolts, which brings back the very first time she was called this as a filly. And that's no good. Indeed, Sonic. She's traumatized by this name, and it's affecting her, and all the Wonderbolts sort of laugh it off. And that's my first issue with this episode, but I'll get to that in a bit. Anyways, Rainbow Dash proceeds to go back to the place where she was housed, I guess, and her friends think that she did a super good job. She tries to hide it off, but her friends see past her, and they get her to tell the truth. They say that she should stand out. Then she proceeds to take that as, oh, I should impersonate my friends. What better way to stand out? Even though I didn't see this as cringe as some others would have stated, I also didn't find this particularly too funny either. It definitely dragged on for a bit, and on top of that, it really didn't tie into the end of the episode in any way, shape, or form. It just seems there to embarrass Rainbow Dash, so there could have been a better way to handle this, I see. Oh yeah? How would you change it then? Oh, well, I guess if I were to change it, this is what I would do. Okay, first and foremost, at the very beginning, when she crashes, have at least one of the other Wonderbolts be legit concerned about her instead of laughing with the others. This could create a new dynamic that we haven't seen, at least in the Wonderbolts. We can continue this trend in the middle section. Here, instead of doing the imitation game, we could actually make a pretty clever reference. The movie that I actually thought of when thinking about this was Child's Play 3. So we have the newbie, we have the call-out kid, and we have the leader. Replace the newbie with Rainbow Dash, the call-out kid with the other Wonderbolt, and the leader with Spitfire, and you have yourself a pretty clever reference. So you could have them lined up in the same formation as they were in that movie, and have Rainbow Dash say something rather comical. You see, you can still keep the comedy there while also doing the same dynamic that you were already doing in the beginning of the episode. So you have the other Wonderbolt also call out Spitfire for being too harsh. Maybe this could be another new Wonderbolt. Maybe even. I don't know. Maybe it could have been Soren. It could have been one of the others. Just have it be dynamic. And you can also have the comedy also land there, with the lines being particularly funny between the new Wonderbolt or Soren or whoever you choose and Spitfire. You can have Spitfire then call out that Wonderbolt and push them aside, and then tell them why she would be calling Rainbow Dash Rainbow Crash. And then we can have that connect to why she does what she does at the end of the episode with the rest of the Wonderbolts. This way, it's like a connecting bridge. You keep the comedy, you add a new dynamic to the Wonderbolts, and, well, it just seems a little bit more like a bridge for the entire middle section. Wow, maybe you should have wrote this episode instead. Whoa, don't get ahead of yourself. I'm a really small reviewer, so I'm pretty sure no one knows who I am. It's not like that's gonna ever happen in the future. Anyways, to wrap things up, at the end we see that Rainbow Dash is still embarrassed. So she goes through the rainbow cloud thing and kicks it or moves it, and she's gonna have Scootaloo mess with the cloud and kick it in her direction. This smells of all sorts of bad, and seeing how she's already messed up twice, this you would think would be the third strike against her. And well, at least this isn't baseball. She didn't completely strike out, but she sure was punished by crashing severely as soon as she was flying. Things did start off really smooth, but as soon as that cloud came in, things became a disaster, thus still leaving her with the name Rainbow Crash. I assume if they didn't call her that, then this ending part would have happened at all. She probably would have been able to keep the routine as it was, and that would have been probably too simple. As someone who's been in the military for a very, very short time, or military type program, I should say more specifically, I can understand this mentality. I can understand why they would call her that name. The thing I don't see is why Spitfire is just doing it with the others and then not calling the others except for Clipper, which is apparently Soren, and not doing it for the others again. It probably would have been a bit more suiting if maybe she called one of the other ones their name. Maybe that Daisy one? I don't know. Anyways, other than that, it just, I don't know. There's something about this middle section that just doesn't really work for me. The end is a bit more justifiable. Rainbow Dash does deserve the punishment she deserves, and the name calling, again, is something I actually do understand, as that is a mentality that's very specific. Though it isn't going to hit home with everyone, it is something that you're going to expect to see in a military type setting. So, I don't actually have a trouble with the name itself. I have a trouble with how they presented it, especially during the middle. You could have done a whole bunch of stuff in the middle to connect it to the end instead of doing this gag of her impersonating the others. Well, that's about it for this episode. It's an okay episode. Like I said, I don't have a particular issue. I just see how it could have been better. Huh. Well, that's it then. I got a juice. Alright, Sonic. I'm Kawaii Critic. And I'm Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. And remember, guys, keep it kawaii.